Great, says we're live. So cheers, everyone. Is Amy Mitchell with Houses of Windsor, newly Lady Amy, Houses of Windsor. And this is Virtual Tea Time with Amy. And today my special guest is Sean Michael Drake. Thank you for being on, Sean.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So my iPad, I am attempting to watch comments. My iPad closed. So let me see if I can see us here going live, so that I can keep an eye on it. And of course, Cheryl, if you're out there, you know what to do. But okay, so Sean, so first, what are you drinking and where are you calling from?
Okay, I am drinking an Irish cream tea.
Yes, very nice.
With a little bit of honey and just a splash of half cream, half milk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just a splash. And it has such a great flavor, and we can talk. That's one of the ones I sent you.
Yep. Yeah, I know. It's like super cool.
Yeah, so I say put a little something sweet in it, and just a little black dash of milk or cream, and
yeah,
it's heavenly. It's got just that nice malty, creamy flavor that you want out of a black tea, and but still has that little bit of that creaminess to it. So
right.
And I'm actually in Eden, New York, which is about 25 minutes south of Buffalo.
Okay. And so I'm calling from the Orlando area, Florida, and I am drinking today I'll say a blend of two like English teas. So I just put a couple different, like one of them is Yorkshire, and I honestly forget what the other one was because I just have like a tea, like a generic tea little tin that I like put black tea bags in. So I'm drinking that today because I'm working on my next blog is comparing English breakfast tea and Irish breakfast tea. I was in the mood to just drink a regular English tea.
Good. Yeah. Well, I know I sent you there's an English breakfast tea that I sent you, and that's Taylor's.
Yes, which I'm excited because I probably should be embarrassed, but I don't think I've had Taylor's teas before, and I see you got 3 of them. So that's awesome.
Well, then I'm gonna say I got two by accident from Amazon.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
So I'll have you open this. I'll send you the other one because it has the English breakfast in it, and it has like that I'm gonna mispronounce it now.
Assam?
Yeah, it has the Assam.
Yeah, okay.
And there's like 6 different samples.
Oh, really? Oh, awesome. Well,
like
thank
4
you.
of each, and then there's the you got to put the Scottish breakfast. Once you try it, you got to maybe put it in the running to kind of.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I was like, because I'm trying to think. I feel like I was exposed to it like maybe once, but I didn't notice a difference whichever one I had. So I feel like I need to try it again now that I'm more into tea.
Yeah. Well, the only tea I knew growing up, was very few people in my family ever drank tea. They were all coffee drinkers, which
right. Same here.
In the U.S., I mean, is where coffee
right.
Worldwide, more tea drinkers, obviously.
Right. Yeah. So what is your connection with tea then? How did you get into it?
So when I was in the Navy, so I went in the Navy in 1989, 2 weeks after I graduated high school. And so I was in the Navy, and you're really on any time in between, like, if you have time to drink anything in the military, it's usually most people are drinking either coffee or soda pop or water. That was about it, And so I started drinking coffee for a while, but I always found that I didn't really like the bitterness, the taste of the coffee, so I was putting way too much sugar in.
Yeah.
So my grandmother, she used to write me all the time. She was, a big letter writer, and that was a great thing because, before those days of cell phones, that's how old
right.
stuff, I would look forward to these letters, just reading, and she sent me some tea bags because they had gone on vacation thing to like Dutch Pennsylvania area.
Oh yeah.
And she got some tea from there, and she sent it to me. And so I figured I'd try, and it was right from there, that get-go right there, that I just found it, it's a nice escape for me when I was in the
Mhm.
middle. Like if I'm taking a break, it was nice because I steep the water, let
Yep.
it take its time. It gives me time to clear my mind,
Like a
relax.
whole ceremony. Yeah.
Yeah. And so for people drinking coffee, they're just wanting it so they can get some energy and get going and move on and drink and go. And for me, I'm like, when I take a little coffee break at whatever, or I'm not taking a break,
Yeah.
I'm taking a break. This is more of a
Right.
relaxation thing for me. And so
That's
that's
a good, yeah, that's a good point about tea drinking versus coffee drinking is that, yeah, it's kind of like different purposes. People are trying to like pour their cup of coffee as fast as they can to get back to whatever they're doing. And tea is like, no, no, it's time to take a break. Like
well,
slow down and
it's
exhale.
very ceremonious, you know what I mean? If you think
Hmm.
about it, it's very ceremonious because tea time is like whatever what it may be designated for any family in Europe,
Hmm.
and not just the UK, but other European places. I know
Right.
people from Norway, Finland, Sweden, same thing. There's a time where it's kind of a communal thing. We sit down, we have a cup of tea, a biscuit, we talk, we exchange,
Right.
relax.
Right.
And then we go back to whatever we have to do if there's more to be done for the day, or
Hmm.
if it's a day of unwinding. You know what I mean? At the end
Right.
of the night, notice a lot of people have a cup of tea like a couple hours before they go to bed just to relax and talk a little bit, and then that's it.
Hmm. Yeah, I know. I love it. I love, so my daughter, she's only 3. She drinks it for fun sometimes with me, which I was shocked the first time she wanted to try it and actually liked the taste of it because it was a black tea. I was like, oh, okay. But but yeah, as she gets older though, it'll be nice to have to kind of have a standard like tea time in the house where we sit down and chat, because my friend Kowana, who I've had on here before, and she usually attends the Friday group tea time that we do in
Okay.
the Facebook group. So she does something that's really neat with her girls. So they do have tea time a lot. She has 2 daughters, and I'm sorry, Kwana, if you see this, I always forget their ages, but I'll say they're like 8 or 10 or something like that. And so what she also uses it for is when the 2 girls are having any like issues with each other,
Mhm.
it's time for everybody to take a break, sit down. She fixes the tea, and they all like calmly express their feelings and
Very
like
smart.
work things out, and it works. So I was like,
Very smart.
I love that.
No, I have 2 sons. They're 26 and 24.
Mhm.
They both live in Florida. I mean,
Oh, okay, nice.
well, I lived most of my life. I grew up in Buffalo till I was 8, and then my dad got a job with Disney, and we moved to Central Florida. And
Oh,
then I grew
nice.
up in the Central Florida area until I graduated high school.
Yeah, yeah. So wait, so if your dad was working for Disney, does that mean like you guys were like got to go all the time for free?
Oh
Or
yeah.
yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Well, I mean, I worked for Disney for 21 years.
Oh, okay, okay.
I just retired and moved back here to Buffalo like a year ago.
Oh, wow. Well, so what did you do for Disney then when you worked
Oh,
there?
I was a musician there as well.
Oh, okay, cool. So, yes, we have to get into that too, the history of your musician, of all your music and your songwriting and stuff. So, where does it begin in your life?
Well, as far as music goes, music starts like in elementary school for me. Most of us,
Mhm.
I think you probably experienced, a lot of people have, one of the first instruments you're introduced to is the recorder.
Yes, the
Um,
the
and,
beloved recorder.
and for I would say for like 99% of us, it's just like a introduction to what music is. It's kind of cool thing, and then you move on in your life.
Right.
But there was something about it that I just really, and not
Oh,
just
yes.
sound, but it was just something about figuring out how it worked, because my instructor, she noticed I liked it, and there's some other kids that were into it too. So she
Yeah.
had to listen to a couple like these like 4-piece where they played different harmony
Oh,
parts.
yeah. Oh, cool.
And listened to it, and I was hooked from there about music. So then when I went to middle school, I started playing saxophone. That was the first instrument I played.
Oh, wow.
My father was a clarinet player in a Dixieland jazz
I
band.
was okay. I was gonna ask if music was in the
Oh yeah,
family or if you were
yeah.
like the odd man out.
My
Okay.
mom was a piano player, and she's classically trained,
Hmm.
sheet music and everything and all that. And we'll talk about that in a little bit, how we butted heads about that. And my dad was a Dixieland. He played clarinet, and he learned a little bit, but most of it he learned on the fly from playing in
Hmm.
bands with people, and because he just liked it
Wow.
as a kid growing up. And then after he got in the military, he would play around once in a while, but not that often. But I liked the way
Yeah.
it sounded, and he said, "Hey, saxophone's a real versatile instrument. You can play all kinds of music with it.
Hmm.
So that's what I went into. So I did that all through middle school, sixth, seventh, eighth grade. And then in my freshman year, I played football, so I didn't play in the marching band. But then I was playing in the came in. There were a lot of saxophone players when I came in, like in the second 9 weeks of the year, because
Hmm.
football season's over. And the band instructor was like, Mr. Henley, I remember he says, "Hey, Sean, would you mind switching instruments, because we just have too many saxophone players, and we
Hmm.
need to build some other things to kind of fill this out. We're not
Right.
learning a lot of kids, And I said, yeah, sure. He's like, I said, what instrument do you want me to play? And he's like, tuba. I'm like, tuba? Like at that time, I was like 5'10" and probably weighed like 130 pounds, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, and so the thing of carrying this
Right.
sousaphone and all that, that's probably weighs as much as I do. It felt like
Exactly. Right.
it was really crazy. So, but so
Did
then,
you like doing that one then?
well, actually, I liked it because at first, so as a saxophone player, you read treble clef. I don't know how
Hmm.
to know
Right.
about, so I don't want
I
to.
do. Yeah, I do know. Yeah, I took piano lessons forever, but I don't play well because I didn't like
So okay,
practicing.
so anyone out there that's not
Right.
a music person, you can look it
Right.
up. Basically, music split, and it's just because of the range of the octaves of its. A piano has a much further range of octaves, having
Right.
eight keys as opposed to some other instruments. But anyways, you're either in treble clef or bass clef, which is the higher registers or the lower. So now I got to learn how bass clef works, and kind of
Oh, okay. Okay, that's
this
cool.
instrument, and it's different, especially when you're playing a single instrument that's either valved or a woodwind
Right.
instrument. It's really different because you're focused on just your part, kind of, and you understand how all these pieces come to make one.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
opposed to playing the piano, where you pretty much can play it all yourself and be melodic and rhythmic at the same
That's
time.
what I say. That's really funny. I honestly never knew that other instruments weren't doing all of it because I have only ever played the piano. So I'm just like, oh, you only
Right.
I
So you
didn't realize
understand what I'm talking
you're
about.
only doing treble or only doing bass. I mean, that
Yeah,
makes
so you're doing
sense,
two different things.
but
Yeah, you're
yeah,
you're supporting the rhythmic portions of the song
right.
on one hand, and then you're playing all the melodic stuff over here. Yeah, I know. So yeah, it's just we'll see. So I learned it from playing different instruments first. That's how I
Right,
started
right.
about music, and then also I started getting into, like, really, I was like most kids. MTV hooked me as a
Oh
young
yeah.
kid, and started listening to all kinds of stuff. And I loved all kinds of music. I was not like stuck in one genre. I would
Right.
listen to everything from like 80s hair metal to
Hmm.
to the British wave of new
Oh
wave
yeah.
that was coming through, to even, I love all kinds of pop music at that time.
Hmm.
Duran Duran and the Culture Club. Oh my God, I love Boy George. I mean, his
That's
voice
great.
was so smooth, and just all kinds of stuff. Because so music was just something that's always important to me. So
Hmm.
then I'm playing in garage bands and stuff like that and all that. But I knew it wasn't going to be super serious, like as far as a career or anything like that at first,
Hmm.
because I had decided to go in the Navy, and that's how.
Okay.
So I went in the Navy, and I was in
Can
the
I
Navy.
ask, wait, can I ask what made you decide to go into the Navy? Is that something that runs in the family too?
Absolutely. On my
Okay.
father's side, my grandfather was in there for 22 years, and he fought during World War II.
Oh
And
wow.
he was a machinist mate, and working on like the engines inside the ships.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then my father was one of the first original Navy SEALs.
Oh, that's
Bad
cool.
dude. But he's like a little teddy bear to me, but he was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But,
You're like, no big deal. Just
yeah,
just throwing that out there.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
cool.
so and so my dad did like 2 tours in Vietnam, and then so
Oh wow. Okay.
he spent like almost 6 years in the military
Oh
there.
wow.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
so that was kind of what my thing was. It was like music was great and all that, and I thought about going into, because there were musician positions available in the Navy,
Hmm.
and I could have gone in as a
All
musician,
right. Yeah.
but I wanted to do something different, so I went into the medical field instead. I went in as a corpsman,
Oh, okay.
which is like a field medic,
Wow.
a nurse out in the field and stuff. So
Yeah, yeah.
I did that.
What did you think of that?
Oh, I enjoyed my time. I had a
You
great.
like, okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Did you
I
have to do anything too gross or it didn't bother you?
just, it was like emergency. It's like being an EMT almost. I guess is the best
Okay.
way, except for you're in a combat situation at times. You can be.
Right.
So there, you can be exposed to, like, combat related injuries and stuff is the best way.
Right.
But I've been in, because of the situation I was working, because my father wanted me to take the special forces physical test. There's a physical test
Hmm.
to take. So I did it, but my intentions were not really to do that, because
Yeah.
as much as I thought it was kind of neat. It was just like I didn't want to be running around, playing soldier all day either. This is
Right.
the thing.
Yeah.
And so I didn't. And then I went to my regular core school, which is 6 months long after I went from boot camp. And then I went all the way over to the West Coast in Long Beach, California for another 6 months for field medical school, where that's where you learn like everything from like
Oh, okay.
bringing patients up through on helicopter lines and stuff like that, rappelling down, picking people up, triage, medical, emergency evacuation, all kinds of things.
Oh, wow.
So you do that for 6 months, and then you get deployed with like a unit. Depending upon some guys go to hospitals to work in the hospital. Some guys are put on ships. Some guys, and then some guys are sent with the Marines, because the Marines are a part of the Department of the Navy, and we supply the medical personnel. So I got sent to San Diego with the Marine Corps, with First Marine Navy. So they go through and read your stuff, and they're like, "Oh, you passed Special Forces test." And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, we're gonna send you with First Marine Recon." And I'm like, "Well, I don't really want to do that." And they're like, "We don't care what you want to do."
Right. Yeah. Did we ask?
You forgot where you were. And I was like, well, okay. But it was good. I did enjoy it. It was a struggle at first, physically and mentally, but it did, in the end turn out to be a great challenge in my life. But a good one, because it really, I think it just made me stronger for all the other challenges that came later in my life.
Right. So then how long were you in the Navy for?
I was in there for 4.5 years. I had just re-enlisted, and I got injured, and then that was it.
So how does like re-enlistment work? Essentially, like when you enlist, how long are you promising, and then like before you renew it?
Technically, everyone that goes in, it's 8 years technically, 4 of which are active, and 4 are inactive. Meaning,
wow, I didn't realize it's that long. Okay.
Yeah. So, well, the inactive reserve time, the only way you would ever be called up to any kind of active duty status was as if, and this has only happened once, was like during the big push in Afghanistan.
Oh, right.
Was what they did was they call up a lot of reservists to active duty, and then to fill those reservist spaces are the people that are in inactive reserves. Those are the people that then they would have to do that. 2 weeks a month and 2 days a month and 2 weeks a year and all that kind of thing stuff for them. So that's the only way. So, but what happens is when you're getting right to that point where you're first 4 years active duty, then what you're going to do is you're going to re-enlist for another 4 years of active duty, which I signed and did everything.
Oh, okay.
And about 7 months after that is when I injured my arm and everything.
Oh, okay. Can I ask what happened?
Yeah, we were doing an exercise at the hospital where they do evacuation exercises, for like the fire and going down fire stairs and carrying patients. And so it wasn't a real patient. It was another corpsman in the stretcher, but it's like the metal stretcher. And the guy on top of me was carrying down, lost control of it and came down on top of me and pushed us down the flight of stairs. And so my arm, and it ripped my arm backwards like this. So I had to have the radial head bone replaced and everything, and collateral ligament, because it just tore it in half.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it hurt.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in the moment, were you pretty freaked out, or was it just kind of
It freaked me out. What freaked me out was because it hurt really bad, and then the pain went away because it had torn quite a bit of nerve. So,
oh no!
But when I saw my arm in your hand in a position,
that's what I was gonna ask. Yeah.
And I was mostly freaked out because this is what I'm thinking. Oh my God, am I ever going to be able to play the guitar or piano or anything?
Oh, that's your first thought. Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think is like, oh, if I can't play those, I'm going to be unhappy.
Yeah.
That's why people ask me, if you had to lose something, I'm like, I'll lose a foot or a leg any day of the week.
Yeah. Because you don't need those for your music.
Yeah. That's so, so I started going to rehab and all that. And at that time there's reduction courses, and they were just like, you're not going to be fit for full duty in a reasonable amount of time. So, honorable discharge and because I'm fine, everything's good.
Right. So did you go straight to Disney from that?
So, no, my ex-wife still had almost 3 years left in her time.
Oh, okay.
So she was stationed at the naval base in Millington, Tennessee, which is right in Memphis. And so I went back there, and then and within a year, our first son was born. And so he was born there. And so while she was still working at the naval hospital, because she's a corpsman also, she's an X-ray tech.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And so I started taking some classes at University of Memphis when I got out. and I was working for part time. I was working for what was it? University of Tennessee in their lab,
Mhm.
just working in the lab, doing some
Mhm.
working as a lab tech and all that. And but I was playing as a studio musician as well at Memphis and traveling to Nashville. So getting
Oh,
a
okay.
little bit of work here and there. And that's when I started playing in a band. I met some guys one night. Just saw one band play, and we're talking to them because it was a friend of theirs band, and we
Mhm.
just kind of talked and talked a little bit about music and stuff, and then invited me over and started playing with them. I played with them for like 2.5 years, and it was kind of a mix of it's like Rage Against the Machine, like
Mhm.
rap and rock kind of mixed together, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great time. I remember we were playing one show in my on Beale Street, and my ex-wife, she was probably 8 months pregnant.
Oh no. Yeah, yeah.
So she's sitting further in the back with some friends of ours and all that, but listening to all that. And she said to me when we're riding home, she goes, I don't know. She goes, I know this boy's gonna probably be a musician, or he just loves this music because every time I hear you guys practice, she's around right we're there, he just gets going.
Really? Oh my gosh.
She's like, I don't know if he's dancing in there or what, but he's like, she's not unhappy. He's just having a good time.
That's hilarious. So is it true? Does he like music?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, he's a great trombone player,
Mhm.
and he also he's playing bass guitar too. Yeah, and
Oh, okay.
he's got an amazing voice too. That's one thing I love. I mean, he's really tall, which came
Mhm.
from I guess Mac's wife's husband. I'm father was really tall, so
Oh, okay.
he's like my son's like 6'6", which is
Oh,
crazy.
wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's up there.
Oh, and he's got that really low baritone Johnny Cash voice. Oh, he's
Oh,
a
yeah. Oh, nice. That's cool. So is the other son interested in music?
yeah. They both are. He's a percussionist. He played in the marching band. He played in the front ensemble, so he played like marimbas and xylophones and stuff,
Oh, okay, cool.
and can just like double
Mhm.
mallet where they put two mallets in each hand.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, I know. And he likes a lot of hip hop music, but like I don't know, it, it's not it's like kind of odd. It's like got this bluesy kind of mix to it. It's really
Mhm.
interesting. But he's got some ideas that I'm going to work with him on. That he
Oh,
wants to
nice.
try. I mean, they both have their creative outlets and what they're into, and they always want to play and do things too. So that's a great feeling.
Oh, that's really fun. That's awesome. Yeah, my my music experience was not the same.
Yeah.
So I started taking piano lessons when I don't know, it was like 5 or 6 or something. My mom asked me if I wanted to. I was like, sure. And then I just continued to do it until I think I finally was allowed to quit at like age 15 or something.
Mhm.
But I never liked practicing. I wanted to go play with my neighbors across the street. They were like my age. I was like, I don't want to sit
Yeah.
here and play. Like that's boring. And I hated recitals. So I think I only recall ever having to do actually one. My piano teacher had something that we did like where all of her students would meet up once a month, and we called it groups, but it was like we had to play for each other there and then like do some little games and stuff.
Mhm.
So I managed to make it through that, but actual recitals I hated. I only ever did one of them. So the let's see. So the biggest benefit of all those years of piano was that when I got to high school, there was a class that you could take that was called piano.
Mhm.
And my friend Emily had a very similar piano history of like taking lessons, hating it, but like learned the basics. So we took piano 1, 2, 3, and 4. There are 4 different classes, and pretty much coasted through it. And we didn't even have real pianos we were playing on. We had like short little keyboard things. So it was useful. So like, perfect. And they didn't hold it against us that we had like prior knowledge.
Oh,
So some
wow.
people were brand new to it, and Emily and I are just like, all right, like here's an easy A.
Hey,
So
but
that's my yeah.
there's nothing, but just it was just like it's the same thing. Like I had two friends that came from families that they spoke Spanish, and so they took Spanish all through high school. I'm like, that's not cheating.
Exactly.
You
That's amazing.
you got your go
That's
free pass. Hey, whatever,
yeah,
man.
yeah. That's hilarious. That's really funny. So my mom was actually a Spanish teacher in yeah, taught like 7th and 8th grade Spanish. And so I know I'm not fluent like she is, but she will speak bits here and there. And the main purpose of that though is because my dad never knew what we were talking about. So most of the time we'd be talking about how much something cost. And he never picked up on it. But yeah, so that was our secret language from dad.
Miami es
But yeah,
mucho dinero.
I know. It's always cuánto cuesta.
Yeah. Ooh, mucho, mucho.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so do you speak any other languages other
Uh,
than the Spanish you just did?
a little Spanish. I speak a little Spanish that I picked up from working with lots of people at Disney.
Oh, right, yeah.
But I don't. I'm not like I'm like one of these people that like if I was in like if you drop me in the middle of like Ecuador
Oh,
or
right.
somewhere and I'm like everybody speaks Spanish and no one speaks English, I can get by and find my way
Right.
somewhere. But
Same here.
we're not gonna sit around and have this conversation right now.
Right. Yeah,
Tell you that.
not at all.
No, I don't speak. No, so the only other language I was exposed to, well, two languages I should say, as a young child were Polish and German.
Oh, okay.
My grandfather and his parents.
Mhm.
I met my grandmother till she passed away when I was like 4, so I don't really
Okay.
know, but I remember the only things I remember as a young kid, like around 7, 8 years old, was his parents were still alive. My grandfather, so my great grandparents were still,
Mhm.
and I remember him, them speaking Polish and them
Right.
because he spoke very little English, and
Right, right.
he translate, and all that. And I remember, you hear a few words and that, but that's it. But I've always wanted to learn lots of different languages. I always thought that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
such a great tool just to have. My Aunt Teddy went to school for that and
Mhm.
worked for many years for one of the banks up here for Marine Midland Bank, I think it was.
Mhm.
And she basically worked like these corporate accounts where she like was a translator because she spoke like 6 different languages. So that's all she
Right.
did was work
Oh,
between
wow.
bankers, and she got to go all over the world a lot of
Oh,
times
I'm sure.
because she worked as a translator for these people for the bank
Awesome.
to
Yeah, yeah.
do these big pie purchases and stuff. And I always thought that was kind of neat.
That is really cool. Yeah, I definitely yeah, so I had lots of fun in all of my Spanish classes and loved it. And so I actually started out as a Spanish major in college, and then it went down to Spanish minor, and then I dropped it completely because it wasn't fun anymore. And I already had like a double major and another minor. So it's like, all right, sorry, Spanish, like you've got to go. But yeah, I was gonna say what's funny. So I'm from Indiana, a smallish town, and in our schools, the only two foreign languages offered were Spanish and German. And because of my mom being a Spanish teacher, she had a very fun rivalry with the German teacher, and she was like that Spanish was always better because where are you going to use German besides Germany? It's like Spanish is much more valuable. so so I grew up with that
Well,
thinking.
Austria and Switzerland, and that's about
Oh,
it.
there you go. There you go.
That's
So
about it.
their mom, yeah, it's like my mom always watches these. Like their mom, there's a couple more places. But
Spanish,
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, but so I grew up with that. But then actually, it's funny because then in college, I randomly met a German guy that was like over here for an internship. So then I was like, I could have used German, and he had German roommates. So like, see, mom, like, you can use it if you have a German boyfriend.
Yeah, that's the only way.
Yeah, but luckily he spoke English very well, and he also spoke Spanish fluently because he had studied abroad in Mexico before he came here. So like his Spanish was way better than mine, and he thought
Okay.
mine was dreadful. So yeah, but the only German I know now, because I ended up liking German rap that they don't like, but I love rap music. And so I asked them like who's a German rapper that I should listen to. And so most of the words that I do know are inappropriate words.
Yeah, that's what you learn from people. That's a lot of stuff I learned in Spanish. So
Right, right. But yeah, so if anybody wants to listen to a great German rapper circa like 2006, his name is Sido, Sido.
Okay.
And I say if you kind of like the styles of Eminem, you'll like Sido. And I was obsessed with Eminem.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah. But so I
I'm,
gotta ask you.
I'm more of a, as when it comes to German music, more of a Rammstein sort of guy myself, but
Oh, the what Du hast? That's like the
Rammstein.
only thing I remember
It's the only song that everybody knows by them,
that
really.
everyone knows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so on that note, do you remember Hanson, the band Hanson?
Oh, hell
Sig
yeah.
Mop? Yeah, yeah. Okay. So that's another band that most people think only ever sing one song. So I am what is called a fanson.
Okay. No, there's more.
Is
There's three that I can remember off the top of my head.
Oh, good. That's more than most. Because
Yeah.
there's yeah, I was like, I feel like most people should remember Where's the Love that was like right after
Yeah,
Mbop.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they
And there's
came
then there's
back with
then there's that ballad too.
This Time Around.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
So one more. I think he's riding on the subway in it, and there's something like that.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. What's the
Paint falling from
yes.
the window and stuff.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
I remember stuff visually sometimes better than I do musically at times too.
I actually remember, yeah, I would say aside from Hanson, I actually remember most of the music that I liked as a kid based on the music video. Like forever, I just be like, do you remember the one where like they're like barbecuing a Barbie? Like that was Black Hole Sun. So I was like,
Oh yeah,
yeah, yeah. So I remember it a lot by music videos. But yeah, so I was just gonna say, so Hanson is still around and has like 6 full albums, and they do like these special like EPs every year for just the members, the paying members. So
mhm.
we get a new album of like 5 or 6 songs every year that are just for us. And yeah, so and they do I don't know how much you pay attention to what New Kids on the Block and Backstreet Boys do now, but like pre-COVID they did cruises and like all
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so Hanson did would like go to a resort, usually Jamaica or Mexico. So they were stationary. Everybody else does cruises, but I never went. I'm just telling you what
No, no,
other
no, no. I know. Well, because what it's funny you talk about when you talk about the EPs that they, do for
Mhm.
the fan club.
Right.
That's another. That's one thing that we're in discussion about for like this upcoming album, this release, and all that. And one of the things we had discussed and think is a great idea when we finally decide on what songs would be that first single for
Right.
these.
Yeah.
We're gonna press like 500 maybe.
Hmm.
I think maybe 1,000 at the most.
Yeah.
Like old school 45 RP
Oh, cool.
R45s with that song and another song on the other side.
Yeah, yeah.
Plus it comes with the free digital download
Oh,
of the
right. Yeah, yeah. So you can,
of the
yeah,
whole
put.
album. So it's a collector's piece that
Oh, that's
and,
cool.
like I'll sign all of them and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
So that way, that's like the first 500 people that purchase the album are the only
Right,
ones
right.
that have this one,
Oh, that's really neat.
Things
So
like
wait, I'm sure this is something I could Google, but what does EP stand for? Like,
it means
because it's
it,
versus
it,
LP, right?
okay. So yeah, what it used to mean back in the day is you either had an EP or LP. So
Mm-hmm.
extended play or long play.
That's what I
And
thought. Yeah.
45 RPM for EPs and
Mm-hmm.
33 and a half for the big ones. Remember?
Right.
That's the
Mm-hmm.
revolutions per minute it would spin. So
Oh, okay.
so you could put more music on
Right.
the big records, obviously, because
Right.
each side you could put like I think it was up to 40 minutes of music. I think it's
Yeah.
totally 40,
Yeah.
35,
I
40.
don't, yeah. It's like it sounds like yeah, roughly like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get like you can get like, depending on how short or long your song on, you can get anywhere from 10 to 12 songs on the,
Right.
you get like 6 or so on each side.
Mm-hmm.
But with the 45, it's going at a bigger speed and you'd only put one song. Now it's a higher quality. It's
Oh.
the sound goes on vinyl back in those days
Mm-hmm.
because the pattern of the waves are have more distance, so it has more ability for it to vibrate
Mm-hmm.
to give you a better sound.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why it's bigger, but it goes at a
Right.
faster speed. Whereas the LP doesn't, but still, even think if you think about it, back in the day, it's still a great sound for just a little needle vibrating.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
Well, and it's, I guess
that's
it
what
never made, I thought it stood for extended play, but that doesn't make sense to me because to me, that sounds like it'd
it
be the
should be
exact
all
same thing as long play.
right.
Like
And
neither
so
one of them's short.
yeah. So now I think it's just I think they just taken that word, which it's always been, and for single
Right.
EP, a single,
Okay.
and they just use it, intermittently. They use it how interchangeably,
Yeah.
because I mean, because some bands and some groups put out full albums still,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot
Mm-hmm.
don't anymore. Now
Oh,
they
right.
put out like 2, 3 songs at a time.
That's true. Yeah.
It's just COVID's changed a lot for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
You can't tour barely. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I've got some people I've worked with and their friends that are worked in shows in Las Vegas. Nothing's
Ooh,
going on. They
that's rough.
do cruise
Yeah.
lines and stuff. So it's
Mm-hmm.
changing things. But yeah, so the big thing is just, you got to just find, it's like kind of like what you're doing. You got to figure how the market works for your
Right.
business
Yep.
and just go
And
forward.
just keep
Yeah.
tweaking it to
And
fit
like
the
I said,
new market.
the only places that I can play live right now are Florida and a few other places, maybe a couple of
Yeah.
states. But that's
I only smile like that because I know our reputation is Florida. Like so there's a podcast I listen to that the two co-hosts live in New York, and they have made comments where like because one of them, their sister lives in Florida, and they're like they went to visit, they're like, it's like you're time traveling or like it's a whole nother like country down there where they just like, it doesn't feel like COVID is because the way that in general in the way that we treat it, or at least our reputation for treating it.
well, I would know. Let me just say this: I was there almost all of December.
Mhm.
I was there for like 3 weeks, and
Yeah.
I can honestly tell you this. You can tell it still has its effects everywhere. I was in the Kissimmee St. Cloud area.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Right.
and still masks going into
Yep.
all the stores, all that. So
hmm
it wasn't. It's just the thing is that you guys have your restaurants open, and you can get in
That's
kind of. And here
right.
they only started now letting some of them open back up because
Oh,
they
okay.
they actually had to put a lawsuit against the state
Oh, wow.
because
Yeah.
just to get their restaurants back open.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I guess so that is something. Yeah, it's like we are still wearing our masks and things, but the yeah, restaurants are open and bars are open if they're also a restaurant. Like there's no like straight up club or bars that are allowed to open yet. But the our huge advantage is the weather. So we don't have, even when it's chilly out, like the patio seating has the big
Yeah.
like outdoor heaters and stuff. So, and we'll wear our winter coats when it's like when it's 50 and the heaters are on.
I know it's cute. I mean, I've only
Yes.
been here a year, so but I've always liked the cold too. I played
Oh,
hockey.
really? Okay, so you like being there versus Florida?
Um, Florida got to the point for me, the heat was too much for me.
Oh,
One of
okay.
the biggest things, and I know it's only really 3 months out of the year that it's like
hmm
crazy hot. The rest of the time, it's
Yeah.
manageable. But to me, that and I don't know. I spent so many years there and seeing the same old, and I just wanted something new, And it was
Right.
nice to I forgot like how the four seasons is different. The way
Oh, right.
when fall comes and
Yeah.
all the leaves change, and you can smell it in the air,
hmm
and like summer here is like gorgeous. I
Oh,
mean,
is it?
oh
Okay.
my god! I mean, they're walking around when it's like 78 and hot. And they're like, oh my god, it's a really hot day
Oh,
today.
that's
And
hilarious.
I'm like, oh, this is wonderful, man. This is
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. You're
Love it.
like, isn't it January?
I'm like, get out of that kayak, and they're like, oh, it's too cold to be on the water. I'm like, what are you insane?
That's hilarious. Yeah. Well, I'm from Indiana, but my body was made for Florida. So yeah, it was always cool and lived in Chicago after college for a bit and like essentially was always cold because people question me down here. They're like, aren't you like, shouldn't you be, essentially stronger or whatever, like used to the cold? I'm like, No, I was always freezing up north. Like
Yeah,
I
I
like
don't
would
buy
wear
it.
long underwear under my jeans or my pants on a regular day.
Yeah.
It's
I don't
so
buy into
cold.
that. That whole they're like, well, if you live up north, your blood gets thicker and you're used to it, and you're down south. I'm like, that's horse crap.
It is. It is. And I'll say, so that's nice that you at least have good summers, because I still say that Indiana, their summer is not better than Florida. If
Yeah,
anything, you have stupid hot weather and you don't have a beach or a pool
right.
to go to.
Yeah, my in-laws, well, ex-in-laws, but
Yeah.
they lived in Kansas City, Missouri,
Oh,
and we
that's funny. My ex-in-laws are from Kansas.
oh,
Yeah, the state of Kansas, but
okay,
they do live in KC Mo now.
okay.
Kansas City,
So
Missouri.
we went there one summer, and it wasn't any better. And I was like,
Mhm.
except like you said, it's like landlocked. There's no water anywhere, and it's like, and it's
Right.
still hot.
Yep.
No,
Yep. So
no, thank you.
yeah, I just because like some people are so I don't know, love everything about their home state, and I'm like the opposite.
Yeah. Well, this was always my home state, and this was like I always when people always would ask where you're from, I'd be like, I'm from Buffalo, New York. Even when I worked at Disney, my name tags always said Buffalo, New York.
Oh yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
it's always my hometown. I've always been a Bills fan. Always been a Sabres fan.
Right.
I always come back to visit a lot and all. I mean, but Florida's where I live because that's where the job was and the work, and then and the kids were growing up, and that's what you did. And
Right.
it was a good
Right.
job. I'm not. I mean, Disney's a great place to work for. I mean, not going
Oh
to
yeah.
complain at all, but you know,
And you got out just in time.
yeah, yeah. Right before everything happened, it
Yeah.
was. I mean, well, I I'd gotten we've gotten to about this February be 4 years since I
Mhm.
was divorced, and so just and then I was just it was just me.
Mhm.
Well, my youngest son was living with me at the time too, because when we separated, moved, he wanted to live with me. He was 19, and he could live wherever he wants.
Right.
It's his decision. But and so I just started. I at that point I'm always having thoughts. I'm like, well, man, I'm getting down to that point where I can leave whenever I want. What do I want to do? What do I really want to do?
Right.
No, I mean, I could keep doing what I'm doing for another 10, 20 years
Mhm.
easily. But do I want to stay here and do that?
Right.
And so I started making plans and thinking about it, and a little at a time. And then over the next year or so, I finally decided I'm going to retire. I've got the ability to with the monies that I have coming in off of stuff. I
Yeah.
don't have to work a job per se. I
Right.
study and work hard on music and just kind of see where it goes. I mean, because
Right.
music's one of those things like you you just got to do it. You got to do it and see what
Right.
happens. I mean,
Right.
so I started, like building up a little home studio and all that. And, and then when I got here, I had already started playing some places live, and I actually had like quite a few shows booked
Oh, cool.
in Canada too. In Toronto, I had like a lot
Oh
of,
wow.
and then
That's
everything because of
and
COVID.
then of course, yeah.
So then I didn't know, I wasn't sure what I was going to do for a while.
Right. Right.
Then I said, okay, I'll just continue working on finishing up some of these songs.
Right.
And I just self-produced everything, got a master and all that, and put the album together myself and put it out. And just kind of started doing everything. And then I got a phone call
Mhm.
about 3 months, no, 2 months after I released the album and all that,
Mhm.
from Trident Records, and they started talking to me and wanted to talk about doing some working
Oh,
together. And
that's
then
awesome.
and then which started out with just maybe a song or two,
Right.
Okay. And then we were just talking and sending some things back and forth. And then within a matter of 3 months from there, the phone call changed. They called me and said, no, we want to sign you. We're going to just do it. We're going to work on a whole album together and all that. And I was like, okay, I'm on this.
That's really cool. So, where do people find your first album's out, but the new ones you're still working on, right?
Correct. Yeah. So
Correct. Okay.
my first album, Remnants of Life, you can find that,
Mhm.
like I said, anywhere, YouTube Music, iTunes,
Mhm.
Pandora,
Oh, okay. Cool.
all that. So, but if you just go to my, like
Oh, right.
SeanMichaelDre.com,
Mhm. Yeah.
those links will click you to whatever your favorite genre. Like if you've got this music service, you can get it to that. You know what I mean? Because some people have
Right. Right.
different ones. So if you get it, but you can find it. But the name of the album is Remnants of Life. There's 8 songs I did on there.
Okay.
Um,
Very cool.
yeah.
Um, so I was attempting to watch comments, and then I wasn't even on the right page for it. I just now found it. So I told you this is not my skill.
No worries.
But yes, let's see. Jackson Martin says he's watching, says hi, and let's see. Oh, greetings from Istanbul, Turkey. So,
Wow.
all right. Cool. Hey Jackson, thanks.
Okay.
There was no question. It was just like greetings from, yeah, Turkey, which is like
All
that's
right.
cool.
Bring it
All
on.
right. We'll take it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know we talked a whole bunch about music and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Now I have to ask you the regular question.
Sure.
There's something that you like, what is your special interest, hobby, or obsession that's not related? Because I would count music as
Mhm.
career, so that's not related to like music
Mm.
or any job,
Wow. Okay. Let's
if
see.
it exists, because it sounds
Well,
like
no, well, I mean, I like to write, but not write music. Also, I write, also.
oh, okay.
Well, I have a play I finished like a year ago
Oh, cool.
that of course, again, here we are, where
Right.
we are, but was wanting to shop that around. I've got two screenplays I'm working on and a
Mhm.
book as well. So I like to write as well.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so those are kind of like things that are.
And did that come after the interest in music or like alongside? Like, have you
I,
always
I
liked
think
writing?
I think it all came hand in hand together because theater, all that, because I love acting as well, and
Right.
I did a lot of theater
Oh,
back
right.
in Orlando for many years. Um,
Hmm.
I love being on stage. It's a great thing, creating a character and becoming someone for that period of time, and
Hmm.
being in that moment. I mean, I've done a few independent films and a couple of television things too, which are fun
Okay.
too, but it's just not the same thing, because doing these cut pieces and they put it together,
Right.
as opposed to getting on stage and going from zero to the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fun.
yeah. That's cool.
So yeah,
So, yeah.
that's probably I would say that along with I love kayaking. I've kind of got a really gotten
Yeah?
into kayaking. Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's
is
pretty,
it as good up there as Florida?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because you have a lot of moving water here. You have a lot of kayaking that you can do on these like slow moving like streams,
Oh, okay.
rivers. There's lots of lakes, of course, if you want to just open
Right.
water, and then if you're going to get dangerous, there's some heavy duty rivers too.
Yeah.
I don't want it for that. I'm not into that. I'm too old for that.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna be 50 this February. I mean, I don't,
Right, right.
what's a bump and a bruise for my kids is like I'm laid up for like 2 weeks.
I love it.
Thank you.
Well, that's pretty cool then. That's neat to, yeah. That's, and I guess that's something that what when your temperature is decent,
Mhm.
that's a COVID friendly activity, right? Because you're
Absolutely,
just
yeah,
outside, so you can go
yeah,
do that.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool. So my other question, of course, is do you have any ghost or alien stories or anything that's unexplained?
Ghost or alien stories. Well, let's see. I don't know if I have a ghost story, but no, not really. I mean, the only unexplained thing I can probably tell you was I was on an aircraft carrier in the uh, way far in North Atlantic, like way close to the Arctic Circle. Okay,
Hmm.
I saw the aurora borealis. Would never seen anything like that before in my life,
Oh, okay.
and I can't explain it because
Hmm.
every picture and everything, every video you ever see does not do it any justice to what you
Okay.
really
Okay.
experience. It's just because I don't think it's possible because what happens is I don't know if it has something to do with what's in the atmosphere content
Hmm.
or whatever, but the way that the light changes
Yeah.
and bends through and like it comes, and I don't want to say come that
Oh,
but it's all around you. So you get
right, right.
engulfed in it
Oh,
all.
weird.
Yeah, it's very odd. And I won't say I'll say is that maybe it's just because like I said, the way the light's bending, but it's
Yeah.
just some of the most bizarre movement of light.
Hmm.
I've just never seen light move that way in my life.
Oh, that's cool. So,
So,
like, how long, I guess, does it last? Like, that
well,
you're
it
in it?
it happens. See, it happens to what 4 times a year, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's because it has supposedly. I mean, again, and I'm not. There's a million conspiracy theories. So I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's it.
Supposedly by scientific measurements,
Right, right.
it has something to do with the way that because the way the tilt of the axis and at different points
Mhm.
of the year where we are from where the sun is, the sunlight uh, is kind of like caught all the time. It's like sun
Mhm.
almost all the time there at
Oh, right.
4 different points of the year. And then there's something has to do with the magnetic sphere that's coming out, and I guess the ozone layer is a lot thicker in that area
Mhm.
supposedly. So it
All
causes
right.
stuff to play in the light and all that.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
that's what they say it is. Now,
Yeah, yeah.
I've read other things where some people believe that that magnetic north, the North Pole, the very center, is
Mhm.
actually kind of where a lot of people believe that that's the entrance to, Mother Earth, Eden.
Okay.
Some people
That's
believe
what, yeah, yeah.
that.
I was gonna ask what are the conspiracies?
Well,
Yeah, what are the
I want to go as far as say conspiracy. I'll just say that
well, yeah, that's just like what are the yeah.
some people do believe that, and that's actually the life force of the universe spilling out at times.
Okay.
I mean, I've read lots of different things. A lot of people, a lot of people do believe that everything points magnetically towards that
Yeah.
position. So I don't know, but that was all I can say is what I saw was I've never seen light do anything like it did.
Yeah.
I just couldn't,
Okay.
and
That's
just
pretty cool.
it's kind of a neat feeling. So I wouldn't say it was a ghost or alien thing, but
Right.
it was pretty unexplainable.
That's pretty cool. So, okay, so I'll ask you, it is related to this, but so I have a working theory that only one person has disproven.
Okay.
I have a working theory that people are either ghost leaning or alien leaning. Like they really only kind of are interested in one. Not that they don't believe in the other, but it's just like whatever. So for me, I don't really care. Aliens can be real. I don't care. They bore me. I think I think ghosts are more interesting. But so my question is because I have a friend who's alien leaning, and so we watched a scary movie, and like we knew what the movie was about,
Hmm.
but we were saying if this happened in real life, where you like go down to your kitchen and everything has been like moved around and rearranged in a weird way, would you think? And even if it was like rearranged in a certain like geometrical whatever shape or something, would you automatically think ghost or would you automatically think alien? Because I said I would definitely think it was a ghost, and he said he would definitely think it was an alien. So, what do you think you would do? Would you
In
lean?
that situation,
Yeah,
well,
like we can go either way. What is your gut
after,
jump to?
after I pooped myself and took care of cleaning myself up,
Right.
um, I would say I'd have to lean more towards Ghost. And the reason why is that my thing about Alien is this: is that I'm just not a big believer in it. Really,
Hmm.
there's just nothing, not a lot of stuff that's really kind of pointing me in that direction to think that.
Hmm.
Whereas I am a firm believer in energy, and we all
Hmm.
exude it,
Oh,
and
right. Yeah.
what the soul is to each person. But there's more than just the fleshy matter, the
Right.
3D world that's going on around us.
Hmm.
And so there's more belief that there could be some kind of trapped energy that could be of a person or something like that
Right.
could be happening, as opposed to us being like some kind of like people from another planet sort of thing. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's great. No, no. So yeah, for me, ghosts are something that have always been, I guess, interesting, really, because of the friend Emily that I mentioned earlier. Like back, I don't know, when we became friends in eighth grade or something, she was obsessed and had a ton of books about hauntings in Indiana and whatever else. And so, yeah, so I just kind of like learned from her, but yeah, don't necessarily know, I don't have my own theory on what they are or what it is or blah blah, blah, but I'm like, yeah, I think spooky stuff happens and that there's some
Oh yeah.
legitimacy to it.
Yeah. Like I said, anything alien, if in the whole idea of it has not doesn't scare me at all. Anyways,
Right.
if Predator showed up out of nowhere, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd freak out. I'd be like, come on, because I just don't buy it. It's not gonna happen. But
Right.
you have one of
Yeah.
those moments where someone's talking to you that ain't really there, or something else
Right.
happens, and that's spookier to me, because then it also leans on, am I the only one that saw this?
Right.
You know?
Right. Well, yeah, and it's like I have someone that I know, she was on the show too, but she shared that uh like the short version is that her sister had passed away like as an adult, and there were certain pictures that her sister had always given her for holidays, and they
Mhm.
weren't even necessarily ones that she liked, like, I mean, style wise. And one day she like came into the room, and all of those pictures were like turned whatever a weird way, but all the other stuff on the wall was fine. And she
Mm.
was, yeah, so she like asked, you know, everyone else who was in the house, like, did you guys do anything? And they're like, no. So she didn't take it as something spooky. It was kind of like, oh, I guess she's here, like her energy is here, like trying to say hi. Hey. But yeah, so that's why I'm like, well, those kinds of stories, what, how else are you gonna explain it, right? Like, why would it be just those pictures?
Right.
Yeah, so fun. Yeah. That's why I love asking people, because I'm like, I want to know who's got what. There's one guy who was like, oh, I don't really have a ghost or alien story, and then like essentially told me this whole story about how he was like possessed as a teenager, and his mom had him like exorcised of a demon, you know, like,
Damn.
I know, but he told it so matter of factly. I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess there was that, but it like told me the whole thing. And I was like, but it's not really a ghost. It's like, that's like,
That's beyond
that's
ghost.
better than the average ghost.
Yeah.
But I loved it. He wasn't really bothered by it. He was kind of like, I mean, whatever.
No,
Like he didn't
it's like,
necessarily believe
well, it's just something
it.
that happened. It happens to all of
Yeah,
us.
yeah. It's like he didn't even necessarily believe it, but he said like the scariest thing was just the, you know, the old lady that was working to get the demon out of him. Like he thought that was weird, but
That was. You know, it's funny you talk about ghosts too, because I did it was a one pilot episode for
oh yeah,
a TV show called The Haunt Hunter, and
oh yeah.
it was a mockumentary like The Office, very much, you know,
Oh,
and,
that's fun.
and
Yeah, yeah,
it was showing the behind the scenes of a show called The Haunt Hunter,
yeah. Right, right.
you know, and a guy who says he can speak to ghosts, and
Yeah, yeah.
so I played the guy that can speak to the ghosts and
Oh,
stuff,
that's
which
awesome.
he really can't. And he's a big man child and stuff. And I mean, it was a fun thing to do. It was cool, and it had
Yeah, yeah.
but you know, but I just
That's
you started talking about ghosts, and that was like right
yeah.
at the height too, when I know that there were quite a few ghost hunting shows out too. My
That's
no,
what I say. I was like, I feel like that's a great premise for a show, because it does get ridiculous, all these ghost hunting shows, because they never are able to show you anything. Like it's just watching them walk around in the dark and like go, oh, did you hear that? So, and it's like, no, we didn't.
and you're like,
I know.
get out of here, man. And the only reason why it looks spooky is because they're using those infrared cameras.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know. You're like,
I know.
man.
So I think that would be really funny to have a mockumentary about it.
It would be. I thought it would be neat.
Yeah, but okay. Well, I've taken up enough of your time. Although I will ask, I'll put you on the spot. Are you coming to our group tea today in a couple
You
hours?
know I am.
All right, awesome.
I never even got to play any music for you. I was all
Oh, I know. Sorry, you can.
That's okay.
Yeah, we can have you on again.
Yes, definitely, because you know, I mean, it would be nice. I mean, I just figured, you know, we have a little sit down.
Yeah, no, that would be cool. Yeah. Oh yeah, I can hear it. Oh, you're playing it live. All right, here you go. That's really yay. That was really pretty. So that made me think that I should tell you that even though I didn't like practicing and playing the piano, it's probably because I, you know, played it so long or took lessons so long that I am like partial to it. So I always like the piano stuff, like keyboards, whatever. That's the stuff that I like the best anyway. So that was the perfect thing to pick out.
Well, thank
So
you.
thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.
Yeah. So is that something that you like wrote and then yeah.
That's yeah, that's a short. I cut it down from a large
Right.
piece that I had wrote for my father when he passed away. Yeah,
Oh
I
wow.
write because I like to write some instrumental stuff as well. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, very cool. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Oh, of course,
Yeah.
anytime.
So okay, so for the tea, the group tea, yeah, exactly. 3 p.m. Eastern every Friday.
Okay.
For anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, there's a Facebook group called Calling All Tea Timers and Anglophiles. And you can join that. It's a private group, but request to join it, and I'll let you in if you're lucky. and then,
Right.
and
Only a
then
few of us now, so.
yeah, and then yeah, and then every Friday, whoever wants to get on a group Zoom and chat gets to at 3 o'clock for an hour. And it's been something that I started. I feel like someone suggested it, but it was well into COVID, and yeah, I was like, I don't know if anybody really wants to do this. And now it's really fun because there's definitely a set of regulars
Mhm.
that try to come every week, and it's been fun because my whole thing with loving tea time, aside from the ceremony, is the uh, environment that it creates for like genuine social connection. So that's what I love about watching the group is all these, like, some people I know, I'll say in real life, some people I just know virtually, but a lot of them have known me personally, but they don't know each other, but now they do all know each other, and it's just really, that's like my favorite thing is bringing people together.
I mean, this tech. I mean, technically, this is the first time you and I have really spoke to each other.
Right, that's true. Yeah. Oh wait, your volume went like way down.
Get it?
I can't.
You can hear me now.
I can hear you, but you're like a whisper.
How's that? Is that better?
Nope. It's still a whisper.
Is that better?
A little bit louder. Yeah.
Ah,
I don't know what happened. It was like perfect a second ago.
how's that? No.
Same.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But that's okay. I can still hear you, and you're right. So I'll repeat what you said was that, yeah, this is the first time we've really spoken. We'll say in real life of sorts.
Correct.
Yeah. So and so I'll have to ask you. Yeah, you'll have to come back because I have plenty of more questions for you.
Yeah. Are you able to hear me now or no?
You're still quiet. I can hear you, but yeah, you're not at the volume you were.
These microphones. What do you never know?
Okay, that is a little bit louder, but it's still not where it was.
Is that better?
Yes, that's better.
Okay. Okay. Never
So
mind.
yeah, but
No,
so okay.
I was just saying that yeah, this is the first time that we've actually spoke. I mean, we've texted and talked
Right,
before,
yeah, we've like messaged, yeah.
and
Hmm.
I've watched quite a few of your episodes and all that,
Yeah.
and I was like I
So
told you, it was just to me it was like this is really neat because here's someone that actually knows a little bit something about tea too and likes it and likes the idea of taking that time to just sit down and have some tea and just chat.
right, thank you. Yeah. And I'll ask you really quick.
Yeah.
You might have already told me, but how is it that you stumbled upon me or the show or whatever,
Um, let me think. How was it? Oh,
if you recall?
yeah. Well, I think we have one Facebook friend in
Oh, one
common.
mutual friend. Yeah.
Yeah, and it made a friend suggestion to you.
Oh, right.
So I went and just I don't just go yeah, there's three friends.
Right, to every
I actually
suggestion.
go and look at your profile, and then I saw your
Oh,
first
okay, the little
season about
show.
me and all that. And I was like, oh, okay, so then I think I asked to be a friend via your Facebook for
Oh, the
tea friends and all
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
before I asked to be your friend.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah, so that's how I found it, and I watched one or two, and then I asked to be friends with you after that.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, thank you. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
glad
man.
Facebook algorithm is working.
It's churning away.
But okay, well, thank you so
I'll be a
much.
goofy sidekick once in a while.
Awesome.
Remember
So
you you need me to just chime in, you can always just, whenever when you're talking to someone else or on something else, just give me a little thing and I'll jump in and I can zoom in.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, you can be like my little like my band leader and the person you
play a little bit of music and tell you a silly story and then disappear.
Yeah. Okay, I like this.
I have a lot of crazy, goofy stories to tell you about music. So yeah, about a lot of celebrities too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
I played with quite a few, and when I worked at Disney, a lot of different shows, and
oh right.
so you get to see a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
Right.
I
Oh, well, just
remember I played a lot of shows when Taylor Swift was just a young kid.
oh, okay. You got me really excited because I thought you were gonna say Taylor Hanson.
No.
But they played at Epcot every year for the Food and Wine Festival.
Yeah.
For the Beat thing.
Yeah, there's a
So
lot of Well, they did play out there a lot, and then they played a couple grad nights out there too, I think.
Oh, did they? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they came for Christmas too, I
Mhm.
think. Yeah. They did like one of the Christmas specials a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah. So very cool. Okay, well, we're gonna have to have another
Anytime,
another episode.
anytime you want to talk, let's talk.
Yes. Okay.
I'll play some music and we'll talk, and then we'll
Awesome.
talk about some of these other teas too.
Oh right. Yeah. And so but in the meantime, I guess I will see you at our group tea
You know it.
in less than a couple hours.
You got it.
All right. Well, thank you
Thanks,
so
Amy.
much. Thank you, Sean. Thanks everyone for watching. This is Virtual Tea Time with Amy and my special guest, Sean Michael Drake. So thank you.
Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.